I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our dear Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for the many blessings that thou hast bestowed upon us. We thank you so much for this opportunity to meet and address the issues that face our school. We ask that thy Spirit will attend us and help us make wise choices. We ask that you will bless all the kids that they're out during the summer, that they will be safe. We ask these blessings and favors in Jesus' name. Amen.
All right, we call the June 6, 2024 Huntsville Board of Education meeting to order. We do have a quorum. Welcome guests and employees. Mr. Warren, please go ahead.
Thank you very much. We'll start off with the consent agenda, and you'll see it has the two added extra items. We have a request for travel, and I'll Mr. Riggs, yeah, come on, I'm sorry.
Oh, am I first?
Yes, I'll go ahead and put you in there.
Okay, cool. I'm Kate Drake. I'm one of the faculty teachers at the high school. Huntsville High School has a state officer for this upcoming school year for FCCLA. She's not here right now because she's counselor in training at Camp War Eagle for the rest of June until we're supposed to leave. But one of her duties is to attend the national meeting, and she votes on the national officers. She attends lots of leadership training, does a lot of stuff for the state, runs like state meetings at the national meeting. And so I guess we need approval to go to Seattle, Washington, June 29th through July 3rd.
Is this the same time the
Same one, same one.
Mm-hmm.
To have an officer is pretty
Yeah.
big, yeah, as well, so that's good.
Yeah, she's done a really good job so far representing Huntsville. They had some state training I think it was the 28th, it was Tuesday. I drove her to Russellville, we checked her in, she got to attend all sorts of meetings and plan the program of work for the year. And our new state advisor is Mary Beth Ivy, and so it was like easy, because we already knew who our new person was, we knew how to work with her, and so, yeah, it was good.
Can you go ahead and just announce who she is?
Oh, Alyssa Brown.
Okay.
But yeah, big thanks from her. She's been doing lots of good stuff at Little Fishers. She's going to come back and hopefully get her CDA next year. So, she's working hard.
Okay. Well, it'll be part of the consent agenda, so we'll just vote on it all together at one time. Unless you don't want to approve it, then you can pull it out.
It's just me and her.
Yeah. We have the other added item that's not the norm is the blanket accident policy. This is for it's an annual thing that we do each year. It's mainly for our athletes. It's something that is like I said, it's not changed as far as cost. It's not changed as far as coverage. It is exactly the same that it's been for the last 2 years at least since I've been here, and that's part of the consent agenda today as well. But the other parts are the agenda for tonight, the minutes from 5:13 regular meeting, the special meeting of 5:13 minutes, the request for out-of-state travel, the blanket accident policy approval, and district financial reports.
Are there any questions regarding the consent agenda? If not, I'll take a motion. Motion from Josh, second from Ms. Timberg. All in favor?
Thank you very much.
Please tell her congratulations.
Thank you. I will.
Section 3, sorry. Special reports, we have staff, faculty recognitions. Through our positive impact recognition program, like we have all year long, we have 3 more people to recognize. This one, once again, is sponsored by Integrity. They'll get a little gift bag whenever we get finished. Mr. Gregory is not here today, but he is one of them. I'm going to go ahead and read what they said about him. That's him. He is always honest and is an amazing, faithful, God-fearing man, loving family man, and served our country. He has made an impact on both my sons in his work with his words and honesty. Miss Eaton is here as well. Miss Eaton goes above and beyond for her students. She makes a remarkable counselor, and I have seen firsthand how she puts each student and their needs as top priority. She helped my son in more ways than one, and with the right resources he needed to succeed. Love Miss Eaton. And then Miss Littrell. Miss Littrell helped my daughter in her reading and math to where she was one of the high point scorers in both subjects by the end of the year. Not only that, but she's calm with her students and really cares for them. They feel loved in her class. So if we can give them a round of applause. We have gift bags. Some little goodies in there for them. Somebody wants to take a picture before you leave. Thank you all again.
I don't have a problem.
Did you just make her move?
No, I said.
No, she's
Let me get out of the way.
I'll bet.
If it were you, yes.
Thank you all so much.
So much. Thank you. Our student attendance recognition. We are recognizing one student who did not miss a day of school in May, and that's pretty difficult because May has the last day of school, which is not always the most highly attended date of school. And this time we had Lydia Sorrell, who was randomly selected to win our prize. I've already contacted her mother. She is on our St. Paul campus, and she will be getting that from Mr. Dunlap next week at some point. So she is our May attendance recognition students. And then finally, right now, we have our student academic report. Miss Roach was going to go through a little bit of their math data, and she unfortunately had a little family emergency that she had to attend to. So I'll give a little bit of what I know that they did. They looked at on the last day of PD, which was the day after the last day of school. They came back. I watched them do it for a little bit. They went and reviewed their math data, and they reviewed their cadence data, which is a test that kind of at that level tests their their letter naming fluency, their sounds, how well the students are able to do it. And then they tested their what's called oral reading fluency as well. There's all these letters and acronyms that go with it. So at the primary and at all the buildings, we talk a lot about triangulation of data, using 3 points of data to kind of pinpoint what do our students need and what do we need to adjust for our teaching. And so those are the 3 main points of data that they use specifically for literacy in that time frame. They saw, they were comparing end of year to middle of year, and was there growth. And overall on math data, they saw minimal growth. There was, and it's mixed bag, and depending on which grade level you were in. But I will say that math data is probably the toughest. It's the toughest test that they take. It's online. It's supposed to adjust with the students and their level, so it does do that. But it's not an easy exam for kids. When you get to the other 2, that's more one-on-one with the teacher. The teacher is marking how the student responds to trying to read a nonsense word or trying to pick out a letter or some things like that, and it progresses throughout the year. So, math data was kind of steady or went down overall in math and in literacy. They saw some growth at their, at the oral reading fluency and at the cadence level where they're picking out phonics, phonemic awareness and phonics, letters and things like that. So, when you take all of that into consideration, there were positives to point out as they were going through. And then the last part of that is, what are they doing with that information next year? Or how are they adjusting their teaching and what they're doing in the classroom on a day-to-day basis with that? when I looked at their notes and when I was talking to Ms. Roach about it, they are very much looking at how much time on task they're spending, you know, building their relationships with their students to get the best out of their students academically. Repetitiveness, you know, there's a lot of explicit instruction that goes into this, and a lot of repetitive, doing it over and over and over again in the classroom. And just, you know, the overall sense of we're going to take and value the time that we have with our students and make sure that we do something with that each and every day. So, you know, that was kind of the feedback that as they processed through this data on Tuesday of this week, that they brought back. So that's our academic report for right now. Each building kind of went through different levels of that same process on different times. So, you know, I'm sure you'll hear more about that coming up in the upcoming months, or even tonight as we get to one building that's here at least. And then I know that I talked to earlier this week. She was aware that it's tonight, so if we
She's
have to,
running
we'll do
late,
it.
she'll be here.
Okay.
She messaged me about it and then she's running late.
Okay. Okay. We'll work her in whenever it gets done. Then we'll go to next item, which is the superintendent reports. We have our student transfer list. As you see, we had 4 that were coming into the district. And our financial projection report is next. We are still projecting to have an ending balance that is above what our beginning balance was, which is ultimately our goal. And I would point to you that our June projection, I said it I think last month as well, we really over project on our expenditures quite a bit. It's a lot more than what we would anticipate. There's a purpose behind that. It allows us to account for potentially the unknown of revenue, because revenue is the fairly great mystery in June. And I'm not blaming the county, just you never know what you're going to get in June from. So, saying that, I would expect, like last year, to see a fairly sizable reduction in our expenditures in June, and should see right about the same amount in our revenue, which would increase that funding balance overall. Now, kind of refer back to this number when we get to one of the action items for tonight. But if there aren't any questions about that, then I'll go to the enrollment report. You'll see that we have on that first page, we have the enrollment from the last day of school last year. The last day of school this year is listed. The enrollment from last year at the month of May, and then our 3/4 ADM from last year and our 3/4 ADM for this year. We were down again in students by 5. You are seeing where they were, at least on paper, where they're coming from or where they're going out of. You see the trend data for the year. And the building breakdown by semester. And then a 3-year comparison chart as well. I will say that we saw this type of trend last year, but it was not this sharp.
We lost 90 kids at the start of the year.
Yes, I know. 80, yeah. And, I would expect that if the trend follows, that it would go back up. Now, I don't know if it would go back up to where it was at the beginning of last year. That trend is well over the last 2 years. There was a typical recovery from the end of one year to the beginning of next year. Honestly, that's not uncommon in a lot of districts. But I do not have a good explanation for the drop in students.
Other districts are saying the same.
It kind of depends on where you are. I have asked around. I know that like Rabbit did see a downward trend as the year goes along. I don't know if it was this steady or steep. Westport, but I don't want to speak out of turn. I haven't talked to every district.
Yeah, I understand.
There aren't any more questions. We'll go to administration report.
Did you want to?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. Do you want to step in?
Sure.
One more? Thank you, Dave.
Not that the trend thing is anything that is my expertise, but I did read a news article in the Democrat Gazette that was about regarding the Loans Act, and just this last week, and it said that this last year that there were almost 8,000 students that took advantage of the voucher program and went elsewhere other than public schools, and that there was and that apparently they had interviewed those or polled those, and all of those intend to do that this year. And there was an additional 5,000 that had already filed their applications for next year. So that may be part of our trend thing. But that was just an article that I read, so thought I'd throw that in there. Most of you know this is my last school board meeting. It's my last report, as I am retiring the first of July, and moving on to something new and different. Everything has a season. Some seasons are just longer than others. But I wanted to say, Huntsville schools, hired me when I was looking for a job, and I'm very thankful for that. And hopefully I'm leaving it a better place. Not that it was a bad place when I got here, but hopefully I've done some good things while I was here. One of the things that we've done this year that I'm really proud of is working with Natasha, that we've been able to add 5 AEDs to our campuses. And those 5 AEDs are going to, well, actually we got 6. We actually got a total of 6. Nurse Kelly wrote a grant and got one for middle school. But those 5, they're going to intermediate, primary, high school, St. Paul Elementary, and to the activity center. And these AEDs that we have purchased this year are a different brand from what we have currently. And the reason that we did that is to be able to interface with our EMS service. And the EMS service, we're providing them with the expiration dates of the pads that are required, to put on to do the shock. And since they have, they use tons of those, and they're just gonna watch our stock and trade ours out, because that way we won't have things that expire. Thankfully, that's what has been happening with ours, is that our pads are expiring, and it costs us several $1,000s, every other year or whatever when they expire. And this way, even though these were a little bit more expensive than the ones that we've had in the past, in the long run, it's going to save us money, because we're not going to be spending money just replacing the pads. The EMS will help us do that. We are working on a plan to phase out the ones that we currently have. And in doing so, as we buy new ones and we put them where these older ones are, the older ones we are going to move over to the athletic department. Because at any given time, you have 4 and 5 different athletic things going on. You have kids playing baseball, you have kids playing soccer, you have the band out there, you have football, you have different things. And not every one of those currently have an AED with them. So, not that that's ever been a choice, but which group of kids do you choose to protect? And so our goal is to make sure that every coach, as they have a group of kids, that they have an AED. We also, with the help of Natasha, we got new vision machines for each campus. We now have new hearing machines for each campus, which makes the nursing job of health screenings so much easier for the nurses, because we're not having to call and see who has which machine, and can we pick it up, or you finished, that type of thing. And so, and the newer machines are just better, and they make life easier. As a matter of fact, even the month of May, I got, I know the other nurses did as well, but I got referrals for hearing and vision in the month of May, and usually we're done. We're usually done with the majority of those, by December. But we've been doing hearing and vision all year long. I make notes and then I don't go by my script. CPR. We have been certifying students for 8 years. We've certified the seniors every year for the last 8 years, and we encourage staff to become certified as well. Of course, the coaches have to be certified. So at a minimum, every year, even if we don't do any adults, we do around 130, 140 high school seniors. So we've done that consistently for the last 8 years. And the difference between, the Department of Education says that high school students need to be taught CPR. The difference between being taught CPR, being taught correctly, and being certified is money, okay, and time. And we have been really fortunate for the last 8 years that that was something at the high school that was felt like that was important. If we were going to take the time to teach it, do it right, and certify these kids, so that when they go to a job, they can have this on their resume, and and who knows whose life they're going to save. It may be mine, it may be yours, So, but we have a lot of people out there that know what to do if they'll step up. Immunizations. The nurses have already ran reports on our students that we currently have enrolled to see who will need to have vaccines by October 1st, okay? And we mailed those letters out the 1st of May. So there may be some parents in here that have gotten letters. We mailed them out to the parents that desire exemptions, and asked them to get their process started now, so that they're not waiting till August 1st to try to get that done. That's impossible, because it just takes a little bit of time. But So all of those have been mailed out. That report will be ran again once the nurses are back in August. About a week after school starts, they'll run another report and they'll send out letters again, okay? The state law is that students be compliant with immunizations by October 1st. And, so that's always been a struggle because there's always people that wait till the last minute. So hopefully getting these letters out for the summer and, getting that to them, and then there'll be some that will have some second letters too, but that whole process takes a lot of hours. And if we have to follow these people for multiple months, it's lots of hours that are, I don't wanna say wasted, but it's a lot of hours that could be utilized doing something else more productive. And so, I would encourage, the district to really, stand firm on that deadline. And, as every school should, because we shouldn't be having vaccine preventable diseases. We shouldn't be having things that kids die from when there's something that will help them, that will keep them from doing that. Your nurses, we take care of a lot of diabetic students. We have kids with asthma, we have kids with life-threatening allergies that they carry EpiPens. They have chronic diseases. From the time that in my nursing career, I've been a nurse for 38 years, back when, we didn't see kids with chronic disease. We didn't see kids having their gallbladders out. They had their appendix. They had their appendix out, but now we have kids that are having their gallbladders out, and they're having a lot of chronic health issues. And so the nurse has to, spend a lot of time, a lot of teaching with not only the student, but the parent and the teachers to understand why kids are, not well, why they're not in school. One of the reports that we have to send to the state, in our nurses report at the end of the year, is the number of students that have missed 10% or more in attendance in a year. High school this year had 197 students that missed at least 10%. Okay, and I'll be honest, I didn't look really to see what the other campuses were, but mine was astronomical. Mine has never been that high before.
Just 30%.
Yeah. Right. And, we have to look at why are these kids missing, and some of it has to do with chronic health and some of it's not. I mean, we know that, some of it's not. You have a great nursing staff here, Nurse Kelly at school, Nurse Janata at primary, and Nurse Ashley at intermediate. And Tessa, yes, Tessa at St. Paul. She's not listening. Nurse Tessa at St. Paul, and then, is it Rosalie, is that the name? I think, yes. And, and I think she will be a good addition. She's got a lot of good help to make sure that she succeeds. And I think that she will be really good for where, with the high school kids. I am gonna be, going with the Skills USA kids to their national competition in Atlanta. That will be my last thing that I will do as an employee. However, I do intend to not be absent in this community. I do intend to stay connected with Skills USA kids, as a volunteer. Hopefully I will have some time and we can actually have a nurse substitute. Because right now, if one of us are sick or we have to take off for whatever reason, the other nurses just have to cover it, and the office takes care of minor things. And so hopefully I can help out with that. One of the things also that we report to the state is how many visits that we have, how many nurse visits we have, and how many of those nurse visits return to class as opposed to being sent for medical help or being sent home. We average about 25,000 nurse visits a year, okay? The winner this year for the most visits in a month is intermediate. Nurse Ashley had a couple of months that were 1,300 and 1,500 kids. Yeah, you know, I mean, you know, in the past it's been, you know, to have a month that was 400 was big. Don't know what happened in intermediate this year. But she gets the gold star for having to manage all of those. But our average for those visits being returned to their class is right at less than 10%. The national average is about 15%. So even though it looks like that we have a lot of students, even though when you pass the nurse's office, it looks like that we have kids just hanging out, the majority of them are going back to class. And if you ever get to the high school and you look at the door, it says that students have to be healthy to be educated, and they have to be educated to be healthy. And sometimes that's why they're in the nurse's office, because they just don't know. And so we get them motivated to go back. And, you know, we don't have anyone taking advantage of personal care summer school this year. We do have all that billing done, and see how that goes.
Thank you for, and congratulations on being, I don't know what the exact skills of the year.
Oh, advisor of the year.
Advisor of the year, that's awesome. And she's been my nurse before I needed her.
Yes, sometimes we have to take care of the adults around here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, now going to Baylor. Sorry.
All right. We hit the summer break rolling. We started at high school installing that new camera system that we got with the COPS grant, and so I think we got over almost 90 cameras done in 2 days. So we're happy with that, and we'll have a plan for the rest of them later this summer. But been working on that, and this week we've been working on Chromebooks. We have just a little over 3,000 Chromebooks throughout the district that we go through, and we touch everyone, we clean them, we have a little test that tests the microphone, the keyboard, all that stuff on them. And so that takes time. And then we also just got all of our other projects that we try to fit in. So we're in the middle of that. Next week, most of our team will be at a professional development in Hot Springs, the Hot Springs Technology Institute. And so we're excited about that. I think that'll be some good PD opportunity. And then really the last thing is I just want to give Sean Ellis a big shout out. He's been with me 13 years now, or 11, and he's going over to Jasper next month to be their tech director. So just want to thank him for everything he's done here and wish him luck. That's all I had.
Wow. Like Bailey said, we hit the ground running this summer. We're in the middle of waxing. We have every campus pretty much destroyed right now. And I'm talking destroyed with the exception of middle school because they've got their summer program going right now. We do have a plan in place to get it all taken care of. I want to first of all thank all the teachers and staff for their hard work of getting their classrooms kind of loaded up and ready for us to move out. We're doing things a little different than they have in the past. It's been a learning process for our custodians because they're having to kind of change. I want to thank them as well because they're really staying hooked and working this summer. We're short a few people compared to what we had last summer, but they're working as a team and they're getting a lot accomplished at a time. Also, I want to touch base about the integrity program. Mr. Warren can answer probably some of these questions better than I can, but we have finished our water conservation project. They've come through, changed all the aerators out, changed flush valves, and kind of cleaned up some of that, put new urinals in certain places, and it's helped us out a lot. They finished up. Matter of fact, they gave me all my keys back today, and they headed back to Louisiana today. Got new water heaters put in and all that. Integrity's also looking at August right now for our window and door updates. That looks like the timeline on when they're going to get in on that. I'm hoping
Early August?
early August. But if not, they're going to work nights, and they're going to work on our Mondays. So they're going to work around their schedule. They're going to try to do the best where it doesn't affect the students in any way. Some places we can get them in the day, but most places they're just going to have to come in after hours, and they're well aware of that. The job that they're on right now kind of got bumped in front of us, but the good thing is they're running a little quicker than what they had anticipated. As far as the solar array goes, they are currently building it. The process on where they're at exactly right now, I don't know. I haven't been in contact with them, but the lady that I met with this week said that they are in the process of building it. So other than that, we're covered up. I mean, just trying to get things caught up, or finish up some projects and start some stuff. And everybody right now, they're trying to burn their last few vacation days, so we kind of running short staffed until hopefully here in the next couple of weeks. But that's all I got.
The high school, are we finally leak free? And
We are leak free at the high school. We have been since, what was that, Christmas break? So.
And no problems with it coming up through the drains or anything?
No, our sewer problems it's kind of funny. We changed to a different paper towel, and it has helped a lot of our sewer problems. So I'm hoping that trend continues.
We're just rebuilding everything right now. Everything we've been band-aiding for the last few months, we're trying to fix correctly, trying to rebuild, get some new drivers in. We've got our mechanic PD coming up in a couple of weeks. Transportation conference in late June.
How we doing as far as number-wise?
St. Paul is fine. We're not losing anything down there. We're going to have to figure out how to replace about 5 up here. I've got 2.5 for sure that already have their license ready to go. And I've got 2 more who are trying to get their license this summer. So we're not in terrible shape if it all comes together. That's it.
Yep.
Yes, we would love to have it.
Careful what you ask for.
I don't have a whole lot from the middle school. We've got a team of teachers that are going to start, their stint with the Thrive training. That starts next week. So we've got 6 that are going. Excited that it's shifting over to our teachers now, and try to create a team, a behavior team for school specifically, based out of that cohort of teachers, and everything else is just gearing up for next year, looking at student schedules, and Pauline and I have been super busy getting those squared away, and we're about 90% of the way done with scheduling for next year for students, and so we feel like we're in a good place for that. And I think that's about it for us.
Still just working on financials, finishing up this year, making sure money's spent and we don't have carryover that we're not allowed to have, and preparing applications for next year.
Well, I'm trying to spend Tasha's money as fast as I can. It's not as bad as Mr. Warren, but
Seriously.
There is a line. I come to her with a wish list as well.
They've been talking about our summer program. We have an extended school year. There's about 13 students, and we're housed at middle school right now. So I have a couple of teachers and 3 aides over there working for this month. And we had a good PD day today with our inclusive practices initiative that we're starting with middle school in St. Paul, and Ms. Downham and some of the principals and Mr. Dunlap were there to meet with the person that's going to be working with us. And I felt like that was a pretty good, productive day. So, and I attended SPED law training. That was fun this past week.
Are the kids that are in the summer school program, are those SPED kids, they're the ones that would lose regression, yes, okay.
Yeah.
Well, as you can tell, I mean, I would say everybody works hard all the time. I don't mean in any other aspect, but we've got a lot of people on vacation right now, so take advantage of that time.
Well-deserved vacation.
Yeah. And, so I apologize for how many are not here, but they need to take a break for sure. Moving on to new business. First item, section 6, tab A. Approval to transfer funds in excess of $1.8 million from the operating fund to the building fund when appropriate. We did this last year. We did it in July, and we did it when in excess of $1.4 million. So, general practice, and I don't know that it's like a rule of thumb, but it's kind of probably a good principle that you would want to go by, or what I try to go by. Just try to get our operational account to about 10% of the overall budget. And so putting a $1.8 million into the operational account, growing it to that account is about 8.5 of what our budget is. Overall $22 million budget. 1.8 is about that 8% mark. So it's about halfway of where I would want it to be, but I think it's talking with Tina, it's feasible to do, and the account allows us to account for the increase in salaries next year out of the operational account, where you're not having to look at and move money over at the end of next year to try to balance it out. So I would point you back to that, that number that we had from the projection report. We're showing that we will be over about 404,000. So I mean, the idea would be that even if it's just moving out $4,000, that's what we would do to start off. And this would probably happen in August, I would think. That's when the actual transfer of funds would happen. I talked with Mr. Law. He was very much on board with this. He understood and he agrees with the reasoning behind it. If it's more than, and I predict, unless something drastic happens, it will be more than $4,000. Well, no, what we're showing is $4,000 would be moved over. Yeah, to get it to that 1.8 million. I would imagine that it would be more than that, but I don't want to try to predict what it would be right now. I don't want to say that. So anyway, that's the background for this. Like I said, we did it last year. We did do this motion in July last year, but in talking with Mr. Law and talking with Tina, we just thought it was prudent to go ahead and get it done this time. So if they're entertaining any questions.
If there are no questions regarding our request, take a motion. Motion by Bobby, second by Josh, all in favor?
Okay, thank you. Second one is tab B is the land sale. We've been talking about this for a little bit. We got approached by Mr. Revolt regarding the property that's right next to his. It's basically a vacant lot that doesn't have anything on it. And talking with.
Where exactly is this?
This is off Highway 23. I don't know
Between Forum and Shauna's
that's all I know,
Corner.
yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
That's a lot of area between Forum and Shauna's.
Well, I mean, there's that old. Well, the schoolhouse isn't there anymore, but it was one of those properties that used to be the old schoolhouse.
Right there next to McKnight's?
Yes,
Yes.
Okay.
that's just that little vacant lot next to that old brick house that the houses have. And, yeah.
What was the size of that? Half acre.
See, you did your homework.
I did. I think because it never really said, so I was like trying to figure that out. And that's.
So, you know, no, I didn't think,
Okay,
I mean,
no,
but
you're
just
good.
in doing that, this would authorize us to negotiate and execute the purchase and sale, or, the sale agreement in the form of, approved by the district attorney. So basically, it allows us to, if there is a negotiation to be done, then it allows that to be done, or it just allows us to sell it to Mr. Brown.
Are there any questions regarding the request to approve the move to approve the sale of district land located at SE of section 26, T18N R28W to Doug Rabel for appraised value and to authorize the superintendent to negotiate and execute the purchase and sale agreement in form approved by the district attorney?
You read those reports.
If not, I'll take a motion to approve the recommendation as presented.
So the sale is for the $11,000, or
That would be the appraisal.
It's a half acre.
Yeah, yes.
I mean,
Does-
I would make a motion based off of that price. I wouldn't want to negotiate much, but
No, that's what, and I've already been in contact with Mr.
Does it have rural water across the front of it or anything underground on the property itself?
I do not know.
Well, we kinda need to know, because if it does, that's gonna make it worth another $4,000. Does anybody know? If it's got rural water running across front underground, that's an extra $5,000 right there. 'Cause that's what it would cost to get it bored under the road and already to it. So, if it's already right there, that's worth more than that. I mean, you won't touch a lot unless that, a lot of places, especially on highway frontage on a major highway like that.
I would figure that would be included on the appraisal. That's part of what they would appraise, is if they had water and utilities.
Well, I was looking to see if it was listed, and usually they list stuff like that. I didn't see it anywhere. So Ray Bell owns the little steel building, metal building house shop looking up there beside it.
If you're looking at it from the highway, it's the little place to the right.
What happened to old man Williams was still there? Did he pass away? Actually, he lived in the old school for a lot of years.
I don't know where it's at. I think 11,000 is a pretty good price for that water. So I'll make a motion.
All in favor?
Then, last action item, I'm gonna ask Miss Gail, sorry.
Shepherd.
Shepherd, to pass out, and I'll help her pass out what we're talking about. She brought out
So this is,
Huh?
6%, no?
not a
No,
six,
we're nowhere
it's,
near.
it's just a
Well,
rendering,
I
I guess.
thought we had it.
We say 6%, it's not bad.
No, it's not
No, we're
that.
not that fast.
Okay, I was gonna say, I used to do both.
Hey, I'm from Paycheck. Sorry, Brian would be over here with me, but he managed, he was in France today.
There you go.
Yeah, he got to see.
Oh, he was at
He was at the
D-Day.
He was at D-Day, yeah.
Too much money.
So, and
You want me to give a little overview or just?
I think that'd be great, yeah.
Okay. So what we've got laid out is just, it's 100 by 100, large practice room with a 16-foot, strip of locker rooms, coaches' offices, some toilets. We had originally looked at it as that piece being a lean-to lawn, but I think that it's actually more efficient to just have the metal building go a little bit further out. And that also allows us to put a mezzanine above those, so there's some storage area in there as well.
Would that be a poured concrete mezzanine?
I think that we have it, it's probably plywood right now. That's something we could look at, but we were looking at it, it's more of a plywood on stud choice. We've kept it pretty simple because, you know, we're trying to be very efficient. So it's got just some standard metal panels, some metal building. It's got in the elevations that we've shown those no windows but high translucent panels, so that there's some light that gets into the space. Yes, up high, so that there's less trouble with that. There's one overhead door, two overhead doors and 2 walk doors. And then we're also looking at just right now, the second page of this is the master plan that you already approved.
Right.
So to get over there, what we're planning is just a curb cut along your existing parking to go out toward the indoor practice facility. And right now, just talking about just a gravel lot because we don't know how soon the future is and what all that, and that's a lot of concrete or asphalt to pour in. So we were just looking at just getting the kids over there and getting a spot to put themselves in. We've got netting that right now the thought is electric so that it raises and gets out of the way and comes back down. Turfed space. No, it's not gonna be, it'll have heat, a couple of heating units, but it's not gonna have air conditioning. It'll just have, the overhead doors, and we'll probably get, some venting on one side or the other and get some fans and stuff, yeah. To pull it through, yeah.
Because, I mean, do we not have a law now where we have to have doors closed? On facilities?
During the
When students are there,
So,
press CT about that on here.
Not, as long as there's someone there that's monitoring that.
Yeah.
That the law, we went through that as CT specifically. The law states that the door can be open, but there has to be a faculty member that is watching that.
You got 2 coaches with 15 kids, that's gonna be next to impossible to watch the door.
The other alternative we discussed was putting a little, like at the high school in the hallways, they have those fences that go across the hallway. So we talked about putting something like that in front of the door so they can have the door open, but technically it's fenced.
I'm just saying that if this is not gonna be conditioned space, it's gonna be a little rough in there.
It'll be warm, yeah. No, there's airflow
Yeah.
provision,
Yeah.
sure.
We'll be pulling air through, so then you'll have high fans and low, or vice versa. That's,
So the history for this, I mean, just to give the background, is the Bud Bond Foundation has been, I guess, trying to facilitate a batting facility for several years. I don't know how long exactly, but at least as long as I've been here, for 3 now. And they've gone on their own, and they've gotten architectural plans from a different vendor, and then came to us. We brought it to Hyatt Jackson, who then drew some of these schematics. We've gotten, after the master plan was done, or while that was being done, as far as the master facilities plan, we've gone ahead and surveyed that property that, as far as the district is, incurred that cost to allow us to get to the point where we can say, okay, are we going to try to do this or not? And And so what you're looking at is, some preliminary drawings that Buck Farm Foundation has looked at, has said these look good. They fall within all the guidelines that would have to be within the state, state laws. And then, the action potentially for tonight is to approve at the Buck Farm Foundation expense, going to the 60% mark of architectural drawings, which is where you basically get a lot of solid budgetary numbers, from a construction management standpoint, from an architectural standpoint, and please chime in if I'm misspeaking. But that seems to be the magic number, magic mark. And that's where, at that point, we would stop with everything and have another meeting with everybody and basically, to the Buck Lawn Foundation say, okay, are you prepared? Can you go forward or not? Because this is all at no cost to the district as of
Other than survey.
Other than survey that we need to do that anyway because we were looking at master plan. So that's correct.
What percentage is this? Oh, this is like 15%. But this building is not a really exceptionally difficult building. It's not gonna take. And I forgot our little, we talked through a schedule, but I don't have it. So I think that.
What?
I don't know that.
It'd be slow.
That's the parking.
Yeah, that was a parking. It's gonna be.
Well, the parking's gonna be gravel. Right.
Yeah.
The
mezzanine.
Storage above the offices.
Yeah, the
Right
mezzanine.
there.
Oh, okay.
And then we discussed, C.R. Crawford's gonna be the construction manager if we move forward.
Well,
Or
that's
we can
potentially,
sell.
you don't have to do an RFQ. And I don't, the motion is for C.R. Crawford to do it mainly they did the other project. They weren't, I've not gotten any, I haven't had a good experience with, Jackson said they're good to work with. You don't have to do an RFQ, so therefore it doesn't slow down the process. So, we kind of talked through a timeline in regards to this. If approval went tonight, then you're potentially looking at the 60% mark at September.
Yeah, sorry.
October.
It's in my car.
Yeah.
I know exactly where it is now.
Yeah, so.
But yeah, September, and then, that, depending on, they're gonna need a little bit of time, but by the end of September, first of October, I would think that we have that information.
The drawings will be, the 60% drawings will be ready, or the budgets will be ready?
I would
based on
think,
those
yeah, if we
60%?
can get to 60% in September, then they should be able to have before the first of October, right around the first, they should have those numbers. And those, of course, they'll just be a lot, they'll be a lot more solid because there's gonna be a lot more information when somebody's looking at these drawings, they're like, oh, I wonder what they're really gonna do. And we'll have a lot more information as far as, civil out
It's gonna
there
be
is a
bunch.
lot.
Yes.
And it's just kind of an estimation until we can get to do grid drawings. The
Big expenses
utilities
dirt.
and,
Oh,
yeah, dirt work,
it's
the
gonna be-
utilities are not real close. They're not as far away as it could be, but they're not close. So those are the things that we're mostly.
Well, I'd like to make a motion to table this until next month, and then the new superintendent would be able to talk personally with Mike Jackson and with C.R. Crawford and who else he might be familiar with. And this has been going on for 7 years. I talked to 2 members on the Buck Bond. They had no problem. And Stacy felt like it's not gonna get used this year because it's not gonna be ready for them to run in it. He's saying, he figured it's gonna be 25, 26 anyway. So we're talking 4 weeks, 5 weeks is not gonna make a big difference, but then Mr. Law would have a chance to talk with them and I don't think he's ever familiar with C.R. Crawford. That's my motion.
I think the way to handle it is, we can take a motion to approve it, and then you can vote no.
They've got a, there's gotta be a second.
Is there a second to Ms. Timber's motion to draw this from the table?
So if we approve this right here tonight, all this does.
It gives them
It just
permission to
approves them
develop a budget.
to move forward to 60% drawings.
But that's also including C.R. Crawford.
Yes. Are we saying that we have an issue using zero carbon?
Well, I know Mr. Lawless had not used them, and that he said there are choices.
There's always choices, yeah.
Yes. Since he did a lot of building at Farmington, I figured that we should give him an opportunity. He didn't say it, but he's very familiar with them.
Yeah.
So,
They're the best.
he was very familiar with them. But Shelby and Stace both were like, yeah, no problem. We'll wait for 1 month for Brian to be able to speak with everybody.
It's not gonna, I mean, obviously, if we wait a month, it'll just push us into October, but that's.
We can modify the motion to include, instead of having C.R. Crawford listed, it can include to issue an RFQ for the construction management center.
I still think, is there a second? That's what we need to know. To table it for, right?
That is the motion on that.
So, since there was no second on that, we'll go forward. Are there any, after you take a motion for to approve the authorization to hire Hyatt Jackson and C.R. Crawford to develop a budget and architectural drawings at the expense of the Buck Lawn Foundation up to 60% of the drawing for an indoor batting facility on high school district property? Motion.
I like to modify it.
So,
Recommended that we move forward with this 60% drawings, excluding the CR property for now.
I would second that motion.
To authorize the hire of Hyatt Jackson to develop architectural drawings to 60%. That would be good.
Am I able to say, just make sure, understand that when we get to 60%, we need them, because they're gonna be doing that work, but that's a few months, so.
So the new motion to approve the authorization to hire Hyatt Jackson to develop the architectural drawing to 60% for the indoor batting facility at the expense of the Buck Lawn Foundation. For the high school district property.
That's the motion he just made, right? And she seconded it.
Well, I had to officially read it.
Okay, I'm just making sure I'm on the right page here too.
Alright, so can I get an official second, please, Mr. Alright, all in favor?
thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome,
Appreciate
thank you guys very much, we'll get this.
Moving on to section 7, personnel.
Would you like to go to executive
Yes, please.
for hires?
Yes.
All right, returning from executive session, no action were taken. Are there any questions regarding personnel recommendations? If not, I'll take a motion to approve. Can I get a second? All in favor?
Thank you very much.
You guys are quiet on that end of the.
Resignations for this month: Donna Harris, GT, retirement, June 30th, 2024. Justin Harris, middle school teacher, junior boys basketball head coach, June 30th, 2024. Sarah Paulson, HHS special education teacher, June 30th, 2024. Sarah Decker, HIS special education teacher, June 30th. James McVeigh, HHS math teacher, June 30th. And Lynn Young was added. Just wanted to point that out this afternoon. HIS 5th grade, she was hired last month. Put the date for tonight, June 6th. Classified, Donna Harris, route driver, June 30th. Angie Johnson, Watson primary kitchen manager, June 30th. Judy Henshaw, Watson primary kitchen worker, June 30th. Dan Phillips, HIS admin assistant, e-school, June 30th. And Charles Dotson, transportation retirement, June 30th, 2024. Hires: Kim Shaw, this is for St. Paul cheerleading. This is the additional duty only. She's already on staff, July 1, 2024. Tammy Tartmell, HMS principal, 240 days, July 1. Molly Barnett, St. Paul Elementary kindergarten, 190 days, July 1. Michael LaBon, HMS head 7th grade boys basketball, golf, 190 days, July 1. Matt Ferguson, HHS wrestling coach, that's if it's needed, July 1. Classified hires: Estella Kirk, HIS day custodian, 180 days, July 1. Daniel Glenhorn, night custodian, 240 days, July 1. Gisela Benedict, HMS night custodian, 180 days, July 1. Rosalie Saylor, HHS RN nurse, 180 days, July 1. Transfer: Shauna Moran from HIS ALE to HMS dyslexia interventionist certified position, 190 days, July 1, 2024. Cynthia Whitmore from HIS special education to HHS special education, 190 days, July 1. Tyler Brown from HMS 7th grade boys basketball to HHS head junior boys basketball, 190 days, July 1. Classified: Kaylee Holloman, pre-K paraprofessional, Watson primary to pre-K classroom teacher, Watson primary, 190 days, July 1. Christy Thompson from Watson primary kitchen worker to Watson primary kitchen manager, 180 days, July 1. And Claudia Off from Watson primary custodian to district admin assistant, 210 days, July 1.
What did you mean when you said Matt Ferguson if necessary?
So we still don't know necessarily if there's going to be a team for wrestling. But he will be the head coach if there is one.
And that comes with a stipend on top of his wages, right?
There is one listed, but there will be, we'd have to process through if that. Typically, we don't pay double stipends in general. It's for athletics. So we would have to talk through whether or not that would be a stipend. That's why it wasn't listed there. Right. And he's on vacation, I haven't had a chance to talk to him.
Alright, are there any other comments, questions, or discussion items?
Yes, I'd like to make some. Tomorrow night, the St. Paul FCCLA will be having their fundraiser. I got a little bit gifted here tonight while here. And I think it starts at 6 o'clock as far as the spaghetti dinner, and then they'll have a little auction afterwards. If y'all can come, it'd be nice. And while I'm on that subject, I'd like to ask if there's any way, maybe not this year, but in the future, say Miss Maddie there, she's paying her own way to represent St. Paul.
you know, and they need to go, and they will go. But I just don't see that it's right that a teacher has to dig in her pocket to represent with the students. I just don't see that it's right.
I agree. I think that's.
We're tiny St. Paul. I think we have 208 students total. I may be wrong on that, but we're so tiny. And we do feel overlooked at times. I've been asked 2 times since being on the school board for help over there. I don't think that's a lot to be asked of a school board member in 2 years, and they all know me. You know, so it'd be something to consider in the future. It's rather embarrassing, actually, that the teacher, like I say, we're a small school, we're among giants in Seattle when we go. I just think it's something that could be looked into in the future.
I think it's something we need to look into for all clubs.
Yes, for all clubs. I don't see where the teacher needs to be paying for her rooms and whatever. Okay.
I agree. Also do want to thank Mr. Warren for his time here.
Absolutely.
This is our last meeting together.
Yeah.
You've done a good job, and I appreciate everything you've done for us as a board as well as our district. So I hope you have a good future endeavors there.
Yes, yeah, I appreciate the friendship that was developed.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
I want to thank Donna Harris too. She did
Very
so
much
much
so.
for our district. It's gonna be a big loss.
So is this the new middle school principal we hired?
Yes.
I'm gonna bust you out right here from everybody, cause I'm curious one.
Yeah, I wanted to come and introduce myself and tell you I'm excited and
There's the podium.
really you're so
I'm sorry, I am that guy, but I'm
No,
sorry.
you're good. I'm just excited to be able to be here and serve this community and I appreciate the opportunity. So
Welcome.
So did I see a Barenberg in your last name somewhere?
yes.
Are you Ken Bob?
He was my father.
He's a good man.
Thank you. I think
I've
so.
known him for a lot of years.
Yeah. Thank you.
Alright, well, if there's nothing else.
Tanya, are you like looking for some new sped people again? Or, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I saw those on the list. I was like,
4 spots open.
Now, you jinxed yourself, because you said
I think a couple- I know.
last meeting, you didn't really brag, but you
I
was,
said, I
you
think
was
you're doing good.
enthusiastic, and I think that popped your bubble.
I don't know. Yeah.
So,
Maybe.
4 spots. All ages.
But I would encourage anybody listening, if they can, help out the St. Paul kids. They've been working all year long, raising as much money as they can since the beginning of the year. So I know they would appreciate anything.
Good spaghetti dinner tomorrow night, guys. Lots of miscellaneous auction items. Not even doing no possum
If not, I seen one on the way up here.
There'll be a possum pie there, I promise you, there we go.
I make a motion. I'll make a motion.
There, can I get a second? Alright, all in favor? Say both at the same time.